you said before that Hashem made one world, it messed up, exploded, and made another world. Is that what the Big Bang is then? Because maybe they say there's a Big Bang, so maybe the science it leads to that because that's what happened. There wasn't.
Okay, can you think for a minute? Hang on to your question for a minute. What is a Big Bang?
One big one.
An explosion. Yeah? What causes an explosion?
Gas.
Huh?
They say the star that died, but then how did that come? Because another star.
No. What is an explosion?
Gas.
Gas?
Two stuff are opposite and they touch.
Right. When you have two things and they're incompatible and they collide, you have a bang. Yeah? So they're trying to explain how the world began, and they're telling you it began with a Big Bang. That is so silly. How can intelligent people... You see, how did it all begin? See, there were two things. So, wait a minute. How do you start with two? I know, even if you have one, you still ask where did it come from. But who starts with two? The problem is, imagine if there was only one. Then you can't have a bang. So if the scientists would say, in the beginning there was just gas. Okay, and then what happened? There was gas. There's gas. So they have to say there were two things, otherwise nothing is going to happen. What do we say?
There was nothing. There was everything.
Does that make the question even bigger? In the beginning there was just the Eibishter. Yeah, and what happened? What does that mean? There was a bang?
Well, he made it.
Built it.
He made it.
Lego.
Listen. There is only an Eibishter. And then there's a world. What happened?
Maybe Shek converted itself into making a world, shaped this.
So
It was not.
no, if you say there's only an Eibishter and then there's a world, your question is not how did it happen? Your question is why? There was only an Eibishter. What's wrong with that? So not how did he create a world? Why? You see? The only good answer for how the world exists is that there is someone who had a taiva. Yeah. It is the only sensible answer. So imagine, in the beginning, there was just an atom. And you say, this atom decided to create a world. You know what that's called? Avodah Zarah. Because you're talking about an Eibishter, right? The beginning, the original being who wanted to create. Come on, that's the Eibishter. Why are you calling him an atom? So it has to be that whatever was there in the beginning wanted, because there was nothing else to push him to create. There was no bang, right? So it had to be that the beginning of everything, whatever was, wanted. That's why the Alter Rebbe says that is the best explanation for why the Eibishter created the world. Now the scientist knows that he has this problem. I mean, the honest scientist. He knows that you can't say the world started with two things. But he also knows that if he says there was one thing, then there's the end of the story. So he says, we scientists can't handle the question of why. We only know what. So if you ask me why was the world created, that's a philosophical question. That's not science. But that's a cop-out. It is science. Because if you don't know why the world exists, you don't know anything about it. The world exists because of a why, not because of a bang. And the scientist is afraid, because then he's going to have to believe in the Eibishter.